a different schedule, a serializable schedule. If both schedules are equal, we are identifying the conflict serializability. In the conflict serializability, we are identifying whenever you want to do two operations, one with each other, whether both can simultaneously, we can perform both TA and TJ based on the comparison of operations between the TA and TJ. If both TA and TJ are two different operations, here we call it as the transactions. If both TA and TJ doing simultaneously two read operations, be careful on same data element. On same data element, no conflict. We can do either TA first or TJ first. But if one of these two operations are write operations, TA and TJ, we can't do those operations in the interchangeable fashion. We need to follow the same order. We need to follow the same order, because if one is read and other is write, what are the value that is read by this TA may be modified by TJ, or else what are the value modified by TI, originally it is different in the aspect of TJ, the value is already modified even before reading that TJ, or else TI is having a modified value which is by itself, TJ is another modified value which is by itself. Finally, you can't know what is the value of Q. What is the value of Q? Okay, that is the reason whenever you are doing the conflict serializability, we are identifying whether both operations are conflicting each other or not. If not conflicting with each other, whatever the order it is given in the schedule, we can perform those operations. Like we are having the two schedules, schedule 3 and schedule 6. When you are comparing schedule 3, because read B and write A, both side by side operations, but on different data items, you swapped. Similarly, afterwards, the read B is compared with the read A, both are different operations on different data items, you swapped. Because of the swappings, finally you are getting this schedule. The applied to schedule 6 is perfectly serializable one. So you can say schedule 3 is serializable even though the schedule 3 is looking as parallel operations. Okay, right. So that is the meaning of whether you can perform this particular thing. That means without waiting for other transaction, both T1 and T2 can perform their operations. But if you found any conflict, you have to stop until unless you are obtaining like schedule 6, you can't do. Okay, so then T1 may wait for T2, or T2 may wait for T1 for completion. That is must. That is must. Okay, sir, class learner. Right. So this is a possible serializable schedule so that we can perform T1 and T2 simultaneously, but we'll verify some other transactions. Say for example, we'll see a small schedule which is not conflict serializable. That means you can't obtain serializability based on the conflict serializability concept. Clear? In what way? By because if you are identifying the read and read queue, write queue in the as part of the T3, in between these two operations, T4 is doing its write operation. Okay. What happens is if you are obtaining the serializable schedules, what is the serializable schedule? All operations on the T3 may be first, then all operations of the T4, all operations of T4, then all operations of the T3. Whether we can obtain or not, we'll see. No, it is the given schedule. Okay, as per the pre-commitments, they have to execute the operations in this fashion. Now, if you are obtaining this particular thing, both these side by side operations, one of the operations right and right in the T3, right in the T4, both are working on same data element Q. As per the conflict serializability, okay, the conflict operations, if one of the operation is right on the same data item, you can't swap. You can't get move up and down. Hence, but here the both operations are right itself and also on the same data element, you can't swap. You can't move up and down. T4 operation has to done first, then only T3 operation. Okay, right. Okay, these two operations are not possible. Then we'll see what happens in the T3's read operations, T4's write operation. Can we swap or can we push and up and push down these operations? Once again, these two operations are, one is write and other is write. One is read and other is write, but on the same data element. Once again, as per our rules, if one operation is right, you can't swap, because if you are swapping, T3 may read the modified value of T4. But in this particular case, just the T3 is reading the Q value, T4 is making the modification of that particular previous value. In this particular T3 is not affected by the T4 write. But if you do the write operations of T4 first, then read operation, T3 is going to get updated value of T4, not expected value. T3 is going to, if you swap, T3 is going to get updated value of T4, not original value. Hence, you can't swap. Okay, so this schedule is not serializable. Okay, you can't obtain serializable schedules from this one. But previous one, from the T3 schedule, S3 schedule, you can obtain a serializable schedule. From schedule 3, you can obtain a serializable schedule S6. But from this particular schedule, you can't obtain a serializable schedule. Okay, so that is the thing we are identifying whether you can do or not. Then we'll see, we are having the two schedules. Once again, you are going to, will identify whether two schedules are view serializable or not. What is the meaning of view serializability? Not comparing each and every operation, each and every simultaneous operations of maybe T3 and T6. Not going to compare each and every operations of T3 and T6 or T3 and obtaining the T6, or the comparison between schedule 3 and schedule 6, schedule 3 and schedule 6. Okay, we want to obtain, you want to obtain an overall comparison. An overall comparison. What this overall comparison will identify is view serializability by seeing both schedule S3 and S6. You can identify whether both are serializable or not based on view. We call it as a view serializability. We can call it as a view serializability. What these two schedules are view serializable, not conflict serializable, but view serializable. You are having the three conditions. Based on the three conditions, at least we can say both are more or less are going to obtain same final result. Obtain same final result. In what way is, okay, let we identify the schedules as S and S bar. If both schedules are view serializable, rule number 1 is schedule S and S bar are both are view serializable. Ante chudaniki serializable because both are getting the same result. If the Ti reads initial value of T in Q, initial value of Q, if the Ti, both schedules are having Ti and Tj. Ti and Tj lo, for example, your SU, transaction Ti is reading the initial value of Q in schedule S. Ante ee schedule lo transaction Ti, A value Q, here we are having, as we are having the two values A and B we are calling, but let you call it as only single variable. There is no B, only A. That A we are calling it as a Q. If the schedule S3 or SI, S, if the TI is reading initially the value of A, then in the schedule S bar also, TI must read the value. So in the both schedules S3 and S6, A is read by T1 only. First reading. In both schedules S3 and S6, variable A is read by T1, transaction T1 only. So that is the condition number one. ఈ రెండు షెడ్యూల్స్ లో ఏ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఆ వేరియబుల్ క్యూ ని ముందు రీడ్ చేస్తే అదే ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఆ రెండో షెడ్యూల్ లో కూడా ఆ వాల్యూని రీడ్ చేయాలి. Whether TI or TJ, whoever is done the final write operation. In the schedule S bar also, the same transaction must perform the final write operation. Okay. So అంటే ఏమిటి ఈ రెండిట్లో ఫస్ట్ రైట్ ఆపరేషన్ ఎవరు చేస్తున్నారు? TI చేస్తోంది. ఓకే. ఫైనల్ రైట్ ఆపరేషన్ ఎవరు చేస్తున్నారు? T2 చేస్తోంది. రీడ్ ని ఏ వేరియబుల్ ని T2 చేస్తోంది. ఓకే. సో ఇన్ ద బోత్ షెడ్యూల్స్ the final modification of A is done by T2. Here the final modification of T2 in the schedule S3. Here final modification of variable A by T2 only. So T2 is doing the final modification. Who is doing the initial read operations in the both schedules? T1 is reading. So that is the two conditions. First read ఎవరు చేస్తే రెండో దాంట్లో కూడా వాళ్ళే చేయాలి. ఒక ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షనే చేయాలి వాళ్ళే అంటే ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షనే చేయాలి. ఫైనల్ మోడిఫికేషన్ ఏ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ చేస్తే రెండో షెడ్యూల్లో కూడా ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షనే చేయాలి. దట్ ఈస్ TI is executing read operation. And that value is produced by TJ. అంటే TJ మోడిఫై చేసిన వాల్యూ కనుక TI రీడ్ చేస్తుంటే TJ మోడిఫై చేస్తుంది, T2 మోడిఫై చేస్తోంది. T2 మోడిఫై చేసిన వాల్యూ TI రీడ్ చేసింది. లేదు TI మోడిఫై చేసిన వాల్యూ TJ రీడ్ చేసింది. ఒక సీక్వెన్స్ లో క్లియర్, ఒక ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ మోడిఫై చేసిన వాల్యూ అదర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ రీడ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే ఎస్ బార్ లో కూడా అదే ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ మోడిఫై చేయాలి. మోడిఫై చేసిన తర్వాత అదర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఆ వాల్యూని రీడ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే. సో వాట్ ఇట్ మీనింగ్ ఇన్ ద షెడ్యూల్ ఎస్ బార్ ఆల్సో transaction TI must read the value of Q that was produced by the same write operation in the TJ. A transaction modify చేసిన వాల్యూ ఏ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఇంకో ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ రీడ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే అదే ఆపరేషన్, the operations can be anywhere, but if the TI is reading the modified value of TJ in the other transaction also, other schedule also, TI must read modified value of TJ. Okay. So what is the view serializability is telling us? In the modified the transaction it is giving is whoever is reading the initial value, either TI and TJ must read here in the other schedule also. Whoever is modifying the same thing modified by other transaction also. Okay. So for example, once again, the T1 is modified the value, the TI modified value reading by T2. In the schedule S6 also, A is modified by TI and T2 is read the modified value of T1. So these two schedules, schedule S3 and schedule S6. Not only the conflict serializable, but also view serializable. ఇందులో ఎవరు మోడిఫై చేస్తే ఇందులో కూడా వాళ్ళే ముందు మోడిఫై చేయాలి. ఇందులో ఏ మోడిఫైడ్ వాల్యూ అదర్స్ మోడిఫైడ్ వాల్యూ ఎవరు రీడ్ చేస్తే ఇందులో కూడా అదే ఆర్డర్లో అవతల ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ కూడా రీడ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో దీస్ 3 rules are indicating view serializability. So that what it is indicating, finally it is performing the say for example value of A is 2000. Here also definitely the result is going to be 2000 only. Initial value both are reading as 1000. If it is reading 1000 in the T1, here also it is reading the 1000 as the initial value. Okay, so both are producing the same results, whatever the middle values are there. Okay, if you follow these 3 rules, definitely schedule 3 and schedule 6 will produce same result. That is called as view serializability. Okay, so for example here in the view serializability we are having a schedule T3, T4, T6. T4 is reading modified whatever the value reading by T3. T3 is reading the initial value. T4 is modifying a value. Whatever the value modified by T4 was once again reading and once again modified by T3. Whatever the value by variable, it has to modify in the T6. But is it the serializable or not? Okay. Every conflict schedule is also conflict serializable schedule is also view serializable by default. A schedule S is view serializable if it is view equivalent to a serial schedule. Okay, by default we are having certain rules. By default a schedule is S is view serializable. It is view equivalent to serializable schedule, one after one. If it is one after one, automatically whoever is reading first, that transaction will read first. Whoever is modifying the last, that transaction is modifying the last. Automatically, whatever the value it is reading, other is reading that particular thing. So every conflict serializable is also view serializable. But be careful. Every view serializable is not going to be a conflict serializable. Every view serializable is not going to be a conflict serializable. Okay. Below is the schedule which is view serializable but not conflict serializable. As I said, whoever is whatever the modified value other is reading, you can read. Similarly, value modified by T4 is modified by T3, modified by T6. View serializable. Okay, but conflict serializable because that modification of T4 or T3, the values both are 2 write operations is a matter. Okay, it becomes a matter. Similarly, the modification by T3 and T6 doesn't matter. Okay, it is not conflict equivalence. It is not conflict equivalence. It can be the final modification is done by T6. Initial reading is done by T3. Okay, it can be view serializable, but we can't obtain for it a conflict serializable schedule. You can obtain for a view serializable schedule. Okay, the view serializable schedule is saying who is reading first, who is writing last, and based on the values read and write operations, whoever is reading what is the transaction, whatever it is reading value, if it is reading by other modified value, other schedule also you can simply follow. Okay, but you can't obtain conflict equivalent because conflicting operations are there. Okay, right. So if every view serializable schedule that is not conflict serializable, okay, if it is writes anything, if you use serializable schedule but it is not conflict serializable like in the above one, it is writing blind write operations without knowing what are happening other transaction. If you are doing such operations, write followed by write in two different transactions without completion, before completion, T3 and T4 doing two write operations, we call it as a blind writes. Be careful, you keep this particular term in mind. You call it as a blind writes. Okay, right. So you can obtain based on the view serializability and conflict serializability. We try to conclude this particular thing. The schedules, whatever you are obtaining the below procedures. Okay, some outcomes as the serializable schedule between the T1 and the T5. Okay, but not conflict equivalent or view equivalent, but not conflict equivalent or view equivalent. Okay, here the last modifications are done by on the right b value. Okay, that b is modified by T1, b is modified by T1, but here the final b is modified by T5. Okay, both are the modifications are taking place by different one, so it definitely can't view serializable. Similarly, the final modification of A done by T1, here the final modification of A is done by T5. Different. Definitely it is can't view serializable. Similarly, these two operations, read and write operations, in order to get all these operations either before starting of the all operations of this one, you need to swap up these operations. You need to swap down these operations. You need to swap down these operations. But here, both these read and write operations are performing on same data element. The read and write combination is a conflict one. So it is also not conflict equivalent also. It is not conflict equivalent also. So this schedule in this particular slide, not even the conflict equivalent or not even view equivalent. Okay, right. Now we'll see a small one called as what is the meaning of recoverable schedules. Recoverable schedules. Whenever you obtain, there is a conflicts and the schedule, the transaction operation need to be aborted. Okay, aborted, what happens? If any value that is written by one transaction, if it is reading by other transaction, that means here, for example, look, transaction T8 modified value of A, the modified value is in that read by the T9. What it mean? If the transaction TA is successfully finished, the value whatever obtained by TA is valid one. If the value is whatever the modified value by T8 is aborted, that means, say for example, originally A is 100, the T8 modified it as 200, T9 is reading the A as 200. If the transaction 200 modification by 200 by TA8 is successful, no problem. If it is aborted, in the aborted what we are doing, we need to cancel the previous updations and we need to go back to the previous value. What is the previous value? 100. But T9 are already taken it as 200, which is supposed to be 100. So what we need to do? We need to cancel T9 also. Cancel T9 also, even though there is no problem at T9 end. Because T8 you are want to cancel, because T8 you want to cancel, you need to cancel T9 also. Okay, so this is called as a schedule which can't be recoverable. We need to roll back. Okay, we need to cancel. Okay, right. So we need to address such effect of transaction failures on concurrently executing transactions. Now we'll see what is the meaning of recoverable schedules. If a transaction TJ reads a data item, transaction TJ reads a data item which is previously written by TA. In this particular case, value is written by T8, read by T9. Okay, T8 is TA, T8 is nothing but TA, T9 is nothing but TJ. Okay, Then be careful, in the previously we also identified after successful comparison, we are going to keep inherently a commit operation. The commit is finalizing the changes, copying the values from the RAM to the hard disk. Okay, then the commit operation of TI appears before the commit operation of TJ. Okay, if you want to finish this particular TJ, first we need to finalize T8, then only you can finalize T9. If the T8 can't commit, can't finalize, you can't finalize T9 also. This schedule is called as, say for example, let me assume this schedule is 11. It is not recoverable. It is not recoverable if T9 commits. If T9 commits immediately after this read operation. Say for example, you don't know whether T8 is going to be finalized or not. You finalize T9. You made A as 200. But unfortunately, T8 is cancelled. You need to go back to the previous value. But you already modified the previous value from 100 to 200. You can't get the value of 100. You can't get the value of 100. So this schedule is not recoverable. If you finalize the TA first, then T8, because a value is read by a modified value which is modified by TA is reading by T9. In such case, always first we need to finalize T8, then only you must finalize T9. Okay, right. If the T8 is aborting, you have to cancel the T9, but unfortunately that is already modified. Okay, we can't recover back our original value. Okay, hence this particular schedule we call as not recoverable schedule. Say for example, now cascading rollbacks. T11 is reading the value which is written by T10. T11 is reading a value which is modified by T10. After that, T11 is also modified. Then T12 is reading a value which is modified by T11. Now what happened? T12 reading a value which is modified by T11. T11 is reading a value which is modified by T10. Until unless T10 is final, you can't finalize T11. Until unless T11 is final, you can't finalize the T12. Okay, what happens in this particular case? If the T10 is failed, it has to restore the previous values. That is called as rollback. As T10 is cancelled its operations going to the initial stage, because there is a value, the T11 reading from the T10, T11 also need to cancel, and this operation also must be rolled back to the previous values. As T12 is also reading a value which is modified by T11, as T11 is cancelled, you need to cancel the T12 also, hence T12 also need to be rolled back. That means the first rollback forces T11 to roll back. T11 forces T12 to roll back. Such rollbacks are called as cascading rollbacks. Okay, if you can found, okay, the T11 is reading a value which is confirmed by T10, okay, which is a final value from T10. Similarly, T12 is reading value which is confirmed by T11. Okay, then these if any rollbacks are occurred in either T10 or T11 or T12 will not affect other transaction. ఎందుకంటే T11 అన్ని కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాతే రీడ్ చేసుకుంది. ఇంకా ఇది రోల్ బ్యాక్ అయ్యే అవకాశమే లేదు. ఒకవేళ రోల్ బ్యాక్ అయినా ఆల్రెడీ ఇంకా ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఇంకా రీడ్ చేసుకోలేదు కాబట్టి దీనికి రోల్ బ్యాక్ అప్లై అవ్వదు. సిమిలర్లీ ఇది కూడా కంప్లీట్ అయిన తర్వాత T12 రీడ్ చేసుకుంటుంది కాబట్టి if at all the T11 is going to be rolled back, by that particular time T12 is not at all reading any value, so this rollback will not affect the T12 operation. Okay, so such schedules, okay, we call as cascadeless schedules. Such schedules are called as cascadeless schedules. Okay, right. So we are identified cascading rollbacks. If one transaction is cancelled, how it affects other transaction. Similarly, when the cancellation of one transaction will not affect the other transaction, okay, if it is affects, we call it as a cascading rollbacks. If it is not affects, we call it as a cascadeless rollbacks. Okay, so with it we can conclude this particular schedules, routine and concurrent transactions. Okay, in the next class we'll start with the other topic. Okay, right, with it we are concluding this particular first part 4A. Then in the next class we will start with the 4B. Okay, now you can give your attendance.